Hi, I'm Hardy with Ninja Everyday, and we're here with another installment of our Masters of To-Shin video series. And I have one of the An-Shu founders of To-Shin, An-Shu Rumiko Hayes, here with us today. An-Shu Hayes, thank you for joining us.
It's my pleasure, thank you.
I wanted to ask you a few questions while I've got you about your martial arts journey and some of the things that's happened to you, some of the obstacles you've overcame, some of your influential figures and that sort of stuff. Could you tell us a little bit about how you got started training?
So Cousin Ujimari, and he was really my favorite character, and he could disappear, he could make the fire go up, and just supernatural human beings. And I think there was a ninja boom at that time, and a lot of the children my age, they always wanted to be a ninja. So we had a group of kids from the neighborhood, and then we used to have little plastic sword fight and that sort of things. And I was one of them, and most of the children were the boys, and that was so much fun, and jumping from the little higher place, and it was so much fun. But I never thought that I would meet somebody who were in Japan practicing the art of ninja. And when I met Stephen, I said, I can't believe it. I can't believe it. So maybe that's. And then so he brought the books, and hey, can you start to look at this and then start to translate? And I started to read it, and it's like, oh, it's an interesting way to look at. I mean, in my mind, a ninja was supernatural, kind of a people, but I never approached them. Of course, I was a little young, but I never approached it from the way of thinking and how to set yourself in the safe position, how to deal with the people around you. And it's like, oh, well, that's a very interesting approach. And so that's how I got into the journey. And then, of course, I got to know Stephen more, and then he told me this is like way of life. And what is that? What do you mean, way of life? And he said, well, it's like how I think, how I deal with people, how I deal with the problem. And then so I can come up with a solution, because this art we're studying is a solution-oriented martial arts rather than problem looking.
Okay.
So that's a different approach.
Yeah.
And so that's how I got involved, and then became interested in. And then, but I did not really start practicing the art when I was in Japan. I did not really feel the necessity of it. Of course, Japan is such a safe country, and the women practice in martial arts, but most of them are doing a very classical, like naginata, and that kind of a thing, and many are doing the hands-on martial arts, and so I was not really drawn into the practice itself. Of course, the scene that I was exposed to was these group of people, the very small number of people who had a martial arts background, like the karate, judo, all kinds of shorin-ryu, kempo, and so they looked like they are massive kind of guys, and I thought, there's no place for me to fit into this. And so I kind of kept it over there, and when I came here, when Stephen wrote the book, and there was a huge response to it, and I thought, well, I'm married to this guy. I better for me to really understand the reason why he says this is life, his way of life, I thought, I better get involved.
Okay.
I better get involved. And that's how I got involved. That's how it started. And of course, at the beginning of my martial journey, most of the people who trained here, they were they had a martial arts background, karate or whatever. They're really martial arts experts in a way. And so I trained with these guys, and so the way I was training became like that of men. And we kept going back to Japan for more training. And at one time, Sensei, Sensei, our teacher at that time, Dr. Hatsumi, told me that you move like a man. And I thought, so there is a way to move like a woman? And that's why I started to pay attention to how the women move, So I would say my high point will be to really recognize there is a difference between men's movement and a women's movement. And then my focus became more like, okay, how do I handle this? How do I move like a woman who is much smaller, not much as strong? And then it started to focus on my timing and my distance and my positioning.
Okay.
And so that changed my course of training.
Did you have any major obstacles or low points in your training journey, and how did you overcome those?
Well, I think a lot of times that, of course, I am a woman. I'm married to Stephen Hayes, so people, when we're training, it's like they are afraid to like hurt me or injure me or something like that, and then so they are like being very gentle, smooth, and at first I thought that's kind of I do not like that, I do not like that, and why can't they like attack me like? But then I changed my mind. No, this is a time for me to practice the best timing and best place to go. Otherwise, I'll be so adrenalized that I will think about like reptile brain comes up. And it's just like all like survival kind of stage instead of me focusing on some other placing myself or timing or where would be a safe place. So I changed that. And so that was my worst and then became my best.
If you could go back to the Rumiko, the first day on the mat, the white belt version of yourself, would you have any advice that you would give to her to maximize the training?
I think, so based on my experience, I would think that you don't have to train like a man. And then use your like feminineness, use your intelligence. Because there's no way if you're going to fight like a man, you will not be able to. And so use that as for your advantage. Of course, you got to have the basic skills, and then you got to feel strong. And in order to do that, you may have to do the basic hitting and then kicking, and just to reacquaint yourself, like, I got a power. I got a power. And so value yourself as being a woman, but at the same time, excel in what you can do.
Do you have any advice that you would give somebody new to martial arts in terms of maximizing their longevity in training? Like, what is something that's important for somebody to pay attention to so they can train for the rest of their life?
Of course, to be able to really understand your physiology of the body, I think it's very important. And when you're young, of course, you got a lot of energy, and then you can really rely on your power. But that's going to disappear as you grow older, and therefore, to understand, to use your energy to the maximum, but at the same time, don't recklessly train. Don't train recklessly, and that's my advice for the longevity of the training, so that you will not get hurt at the beginning of your training. Do it slow, and then trust yourself, trust your teacher. They will guide you, because that's the most important thing for me. The safety is the most important thing.
Now, I know that you are the person that people in To-Shin go to get information about this Ryutai or this dragon body yoga system. How important do you find that is in terms of keeping yourself healthy and active and able to train?
I think that the Ryutai dragon body really helped me a lot to understand the spine movement, and that I think that is that's one of the most important things that I learned through that Ryutai, and all the places that we attack, I learned that it's a healing points too. So then I started to believe, okay, so we can hurt that, but also that's an energy gate because we are attacking the energy that comes into your body, especially like for the water strike. And where we're going to hit is right here.
Okay.
Right here.
Right.
We're going to we'll hit right there. That's where we heal too.
Okay.
And so that was a great discovery. And of course, the flexibility becomes so important because somebody puts you into onikudaki, and then if this part is not really flexible, then it's easy to break. And so how to relax, and that will be very beneficial for people to really examine that the body structure, and then where's the healing point and where's the attacking point. That was a great discovery for me.
Fantastic. What would you like to see for the future of To-Shin?
For the future of To-Shin, I'd like to have more women involved.
Okay.
Yes, definitely. And but a lot of times when people hear the word like martial arts, the women think it's like it's not for me. It's not for me. And what we're discovering here, though, is we have more number of the girls coming into the class, and then mom thinks, oh, I can do this too. And it's amazing that sometimes that how many women and how many girls we have in the class. And I usually tell them, the more women we have, the better place this world becomes.
That's true. That's
yes.
true. And if somebody out there that's watching is considering joining a martial art and they're exploring the possibility of joining To-Shin, what would you say to them to maybe give them the information that they need to make that decision?
I would think that this is a time that you take care of yourself. When you come in here, you are taking care of yourself physically and mentally and spiritually, and that's how you grow. How you grow, and it's almost like finding a jewel inside of you, finding the diamond inside of you, and then you never thought that you have it, and let's go find it.
Well, An-Shu, I so appreciate you taking the time to speak with us today. Everybody out there, thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned for more videos in this series, and until next time, Ninja every day.